Buried deep beneath the endless Greenland ice sheet lies a forgotten relic of the Cold War, a secret, nuclear-powered military base built by the United States Army on Danish territory. Today, it rests under more than 90 meters of snow and ice. The only hint of its existence comes from aircraft equipped with ground-penetrating radar, where the old tunnels appear as strange, unnatural lines cutting across the frozen landscape. This was Project Iceworm, one of the most ambitious and dangerous ideas of the nuclear age. The concept was born from a nightmare scenario. What if the Soviet Union launched a surprise attack and wiped out every American military base on the mainland? Project Iceworm aimed to solve that problem with a hidden network of nuclear missile silos buried inside the Greenland glacier. Even if the United States was devastated, these missiles could still strike back, ensuring mutual destruction. That same cold logic of deterrence continues to shape strategic thinking today, including renewed American interest in Greenland. A declassified U.S. document titled The Strategic Importance of Greenland reveals the thinking behind the project. One striking passage states, in 1950, NATO's nuclear deterrent depended almost entirely on manned strategic bombers. Aircraft from U.S. bases could not yet reach Soviet targets, and because Greenland lies directly on the shortest route between the two superpowers, the need for Arctic air bases was obvious. To address this vulnerability, the United States received permission from its NATO ally Denmark to construct Thule Air Base on Greenland's northwest coast. At its height, Thule was a massive operation with over 13,000 personnel, a bustling hub in one of the most desolate regions on Earth. It housed early warning radars and fleets of B-47 Stratojet bombers that flew regular reconnaissance missions toward the Soviet Union. Thule served as a perfect logistics base for Project Iceworm. Thousands of tons of equipment and supplies arrived by ship and aircraft, then were hauled 240 kilometers inland across the ice sheet by specialized Arctic tractor trains. There, engineers began carving an enormous tunnel network into the glacier using powerful Peter plows, machines originally designed to clear avalanche snow in the Swiss Alps. These beasts could excavate 900 cubic meters of ice per hour, hurling the debris aside like giant snowblowers. But a simple trench wasn't enough. Workers used an undercutting technique to widen the bottom of the trench while keeping the top narrow. They then installed corrugated steel arches to form a roof, covering it with an additional half-meter of snow for insulation and camouflage. Each tunnel measured roughly 8 by 8 meters. Deeper sections were excavated in stages, with snow thrown onto intermediate shelves before being cleared to the surface. The environment was brutally unforgiving. Temperatures regularly dropped to minus 60 degrees Celsius, cold enough to freeze exposed skin in under a minute. At these extremes, aircraft fuel solidified, diesel turned to gel, lubricants failed, engines wouldn't start, and hydraulic systems seized. Heated garages had to be carved directly into the snow just to keep machinery operational. For 3 months each year, the sun never rose. Fierce pitarack winds screamed across the ice at over 325 kilometers per hour, stronger than a Category 5 hurricane, while blizzards could dump 3 meters of snow in just 2 days. The full vision for Project Iceworm was staggering. The planned tunnel network would have been 10 times longer than the London Underground, spread across 130,000 square kilometers, an area larger than Greece. It would have included 2,100 launch tubes for 600 mobile Minuteman missiles, riding on underground rail tracks. The constant movement was designed to make it almost impossible for the Soviets to destroy every launcher. Camp Century was the smaller test site built to prove the concept. Over 16 months of construction, including the long polar night, crews excavated 26 tunnels totaling nearly 3 kilometers. Main Street, the longest tunnel at 340 meters, branched into living quarters for 225 men, a hospital, library, gym, church theater, and test railway tracks for missile transport. To power this isolated base far from any supply lines, the Army installed the PM-2A, the world's first portable nuclear reactor designed to be shipped in 37 container modules. This 1.5 megawatt reactor used highly enriched 93% uranium-235 fuel, far beyond the 5% used in modern commercial plants. The reactor provided reliable power, but the base still had to manage radioactive waste. All wastewater, sewage, and low-level radioactive material was dumped into a massive pit melted deep into the ice, a toxic reservoir that remains frozen there today. Living conditions inside the tunnels felt more like a submarine than a traditional army camp. Prefabricated wooden buildings were assembled inside the tunnels with air gaps to prevent heat from melting the surrounding ice. The crew had to be completely self-sufficient for long periods, with food and personnel flown in when weather allowed. The entire base was constructed like a giant modular kit, every component pre-marked and numbered. Yet declassified reports show plenty of on-site problems. Parts installed backwards due to misprinted markings, and control rod racks that had to be straightened with blowtorches and wet cloths. In the end, Project Iceworm didn't fail because of cost, politics, or technical accidents. It was defeated by the ice itself. The Greenland ice sheet moved much faster than predicted. Within just a few years, the tunnels began to deform and collapse under the shifting pressure. What was meant to last for decades started failing within years. Crews were forced to shave meters of ice off the walls just to protect equipment. By 1966, Camp Century was shut down. The nuclear reactor and its fuel were removed, but the tunnels were left behind, sealed with roughly 24 million liters of radioactive sewage and 200,000 liters of diesel fuel. Today, the site lies more than 93 meters beneath the ice. In 2024, NASA aircraft using synthetic aperture radar captured fresh images of the buried anomaly. Scientists expect the entire toxic site to resurface in roughly 100 years as the ice sheet continues to move and melt. No country has attempted a large-scale installation under an ice sheet since. The Danish government only learned the true military purpose of Camp Century in 1996, long after the project was abandoned, despite earlier films claiming full Danish cooperation. Meanwhile, the United States military presence in Greenland continues. Thule Air Base, now known as Patuffik Space Base, still operates, now focused on tracking the very missile threats it once sought to create. Project Iceworm stands as a powerful reminder of how far nations were willing to go during the Cold War, building an entire nuclear city beneath the ice in pursuit of unbreakable deterrence, only for nature to quietly reclaim it. This version is clean, engaging, well-paced for video narration, and free of any sponsorship or personal plugs. It keeps the dramatic tone while sounding more professional and modern. If you enjoy hidden history and forgotten secrets from the Cold War, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss the next video. Your support is what gives us the motivation to keep bringing you these deep and fascinating topics. See you in the next one. Take care, and thanks for watching.